Hey everybody, Pastor Myles here with a few announcements and your midweek update. We have some great opportunities coming up. First, our next Follow Hot Dog fundraiser is actually tonight, Wednesday, November the 8th, starting at 5:30 in the multi-purpose room. And all proceeds will go to help send our youth and our young adults to the International Youth Convention this December. Next, on November the 12th, after worship, we have pizza with the pastors. It's a great way for those who are newer to the church to get to know the pastors and for us to get to know you. And in order to sign up for that, we want you to text pizza to 336-525-5870. Coming up, you can order poinsettias in honor or in memory of a loved one to help decorate the church this Christmas season. You can text flower to 336-525-5870 to order or pick up an order form on the information center in the foyer. The cost is $10 each. Speaking of Christmas, it's right around the corner, and this year we are going to have a gingerbread bash on Friday, December the 1st at 6:30 p.m. We will be making gingerbread nativities, pizza will be provided for supper, and we'll even sing some Christmas carols and have a great time together. But you do need to register for this event, and to make sure that we have enough supplies, you can text BASH to 336-525-5870 to register your family. Also coming up this month, we have a couple Young at Heart activities. The Thanksgiving lunch will be November the 21st at 11:30 in the community center. The meat is provided, so just bring a side dish or dessert to share. And also, the annual Southern Supreme trip will be on Tuesday, November the 28th. The bus leaves at 9 a.m. Now on to our weekly devotional. Recently, I've been reading the classic C.S. Lewis book, The Screwtape Letters. And if you're not familiar, Screwtape is a character in the book, and he's a master demon who writes letters to his nephew Wormwood, a demon in training. And he's explaining to how to lead people away from God. And it's written all from the devil's perspective, or for the demon's perspective. So people are referred to as patients, and God is even called the enemy. And in one of the letters, Screwtape says that when a Christian is first saved, he or she has somewhat of a honeymoon period where they feel like they're on top of the world. But, he continues, He, meaning God, never allows this state of affairs to last long. Sooner or later he withdraws, if not in fact, at least from their conscious experience, all those supports and incentives. He leaves the creature to stand up on its own legs, to carry out from the will alone duties which have lost all relish. It is during such trough periods, much more than during the peak periods, that it is growing into the sort of creature he wants it to be. Hence, the prayers offered in the state of dryness are those which please him best. You know, this time of year is very difficult for many of us. And while it should be a peak of the year, you know, with Thanksgiving and Christmas and the holiday season, it should be a peak, it should be a highlight. But for many, it feels more like a valley. And maybe you feel all of it at once. Maybe at times it feels like a peak. Maybe sometimes it feels like a valley. Sometimes it feels like a mountaintop. Sometimes it even feels like a trough. And I cannot give you the reason why bad things happen. No one knows why trials occur or what brings them on, why our valleys have to be so dark. But I do know what outcome God desires. And in the 23rd Psalm, the most well-known psalm probably of all the Psalms, David famously says, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Why? For you, God, are with me. And a lot of us have gone through, or are currently going through, our own valley of the shadow of death. And if you haven't experienced that yet, the bad news is it is coming. Now that's not to scare you, but every one of us will have our own valley, or maybe valleys. We may even have more than one. Now God wants you and me to grow, and growth really only happens when we have to trudge through the dark valleys. I wish that wasn't the case. I wish God would teach me everything in the peak or on the mountain where it is safe, where it would be easy, where everything would be comfortable. But God does it differently because God desires effectiveness. The only way to growth is through the trough. The only way to growth is through the valley. And Screwtape concludes this letter by saying, our cause, meaning the devil's cause, is never more in danger than when a human, no longer desiring but still intending to do our enemy's will, now the enemy is God, still intending to do our enemy's will, looks round upon a universe from which every trace of him seems to have vanished, and asks why he has been forsaken, and still obeys. Here's what to do. When you're in a trough, when you're in a valley, even when it seems God has abandoned you or even forsaken you, even when he seems distant, obey. Do what he says. He is there with you even when you don't feel it. Because see, our God is a God who is bigger than our feelings. He has promised to never leave us or forsake us, and he won't. That is a promise he will never go back on. Still seek him. Pray earnestly. Do not give up. Do not check out. Keep walking through the desert. Keep trudging through the valley. And he will be there with you. And when you get to the other side, here's the amazing part about this. You will be able to look back and be amazed at the growth that has taken place. Hey, thanks so much for joining us for this midweek update. We will see you Sunday. Have a great week.